Did you know that pronouns can be persuasive? I, we, you, they. It depends on the situation, depends on the relationship, when to use these pronouns. Some connect, some disconnect. Some build rapport, some repel. So let's talk about these words we use. Every word you use matters. It's law of verbal packaging and maximum influence. Every word you use, how you use your voice matters, and we persuade. One wrong word in the wrong spot can repel your prospect. Let's get into it.
Maximize your influence. Kurt Mortensen is the author of Persuasion IQ, Laws of Charisma, and the best-selling book, Maximum Influence.
All right, Kurt Mortensen here. This is podcast 530. Glad you're here. Hope you're out there persuading with power, becoming a better negotiator, better influencer, better leader, a better person, that you're getting control of your mindset, that self-persuasion, because we've all had those days, right? You didn't feel like doing the things you know you needed to do. Probably every day, the science of motivation. We cover all this on the podcast. Please go to MaximizeYourInfluence.com. You can check out our specials, our additional trainings, our free Persuasion IQ assessment, additional information, everything you need. You can find us on Spotify, iTunes, and iHeartRadio. I'm excited to be here. Love Persuasion Influence. Why? Because I was mad they didn't teach me in school. All the important soft skills, 85% of your success in life, those soft skills, they're not teaching it in school. So get out there, learn it, master it, and teach other people these powerful skills. Let's kick it off with our persuasion blunder. Don't. This also comes from an email. This is from a student. You know, I teach some college courses on the side for fun, mostly to teach the things I wish I would have learned in school. And here is the email. Hey, I need to leave class a little early on Tuesday. Am I going to miss anything important? And what was my reply? No, I'm just going to talk about dumb stuff. I actually do reply with that because people don't think these things through. Did I miss anything important? Is someone going to talk about dumb stuff? And the other question, can I leave early? I never give permission. That's up to them. That's what they need to do. But sometimes we get so stuck into a situation thinking about ourselves, how to get out of a situation, how to improve in a situation, that we say things that make it worse. Kind of like some of the pronouns we'll be talking about today. Things like, I didn't know we had homework. Okay, this is a student to a college professor. Everyone has a syllabus. It's online. There's homework due pretty much every class period. Hey, do you mind if I turn this late? I had other assignments under the classes. Yeah, hello? I couldn't come to class because I overslept? Okay. Or the best, what's the least amount of work I need to do to pass this class? The bare minimum. See, these show lack of preparation, lack of thought, lack of responsibility, lack of respect for the professor's time. Some of it can be perceived as disrespectful. And I think it's just pure cluelessness, not thinking it through. And so we all get stuck where we say dumb things, some of them more than others, probably on the more list, where we just don't think it through and it actually offends people. So those are some of my favorites as a professor. And then, of course, if you're a manager, you hear some of the same things that rub you the wrong direction. One of the things when I train college students to do job interviews, never say, hey, where do you want to be in 5 years? Oh, I want your job. I want your position. Probably not a good thing to say. It could work every once in a while. Probably not a very good thing to say. So kind of brainstorming what not to say to your manager, to your boss. Well, that's not my job. Okay. You're not coming across as very cooperative as a team player. I don't know how to do that. Well, you should probably figure it out on your own. Even if you don't know, figure it out on your own. Managers, bosses love it when you can finish the task on your own without asking for their help. Or the manager favorite, well, that's not my fault. Finger pointing, blaming, and not taking responsibility. Or even worse, well, my old boss didn't do it that way. Ouch. A little resistant to change and flexible. No one wants to be compared. Or when you ask for that raise and say something like, well, I need a raise because I'm broke. Well, it's probably not their fault that you're broke. You got to package that a better way. In fact, go to the archives where you can see how to negotiate a raise and do it the right way. So that's the blunder of a week coming from a lame email. And Maybe we'll even give them the gold version of influenceuniversity.com, probably because they need it more than others. And remember, anything I use on the podcast, from humor to geeky scholarly article to blunder to suggestion, you get influenceuniversity.com. So send me an email at Kurt, K-U-R-T, at maximizeyourinfluence.com. Still a little squeaky? Hopefully my voice is mending off to the Middle East this week. I'll keep you posted on that. These skills are universal, and it's all something we need to master. So let's get into Geeky Scholarly article. This comes from the Journal of Research of Science Teaching, Sarah Zasky and Washington State University. Facts alone fall short in correcting misinformation. So they're looking at, teaching science and other things. There's evidence, there's different opinions. We hear about misinformation, who's telling the truth, we don't know. I mean, you can take anything happening in society, and you can prove anything true. Everyone has their opinions, thoughts, science, doctors, studies, so it gets kind of crazy sometimes. Hey, I looked up the other day, the world is flat, and there is a very persuasive site that convinces you that the world is indeed flat. Not that I believed it, but I was starting to get a little swayed. It was pretty persuasive, even though I knew deep down the world is not flat. So for this study, researchers first tested what the student participants knew about putting fluoride in water. That's one of those, again, controversial topics. Some people think it's the greatest thing in the world. Some people think it's the worst thing in the world. So they had these students read two different articles, one with false information saying that fluoride is harmful, and another one presenting scientific consensus that has found fluoridation is safe and prevents dental disease. The participants all read the same information, but different groups read an article with the correct information either in a traditional just the fact style or one that first refuted the misinformation. The study also tested the effects of having participants read the correct article before or after the misinformation. Here's where it gets interesting. The group that performed the worst had seen the misinformation first, then the facts. You see, your mind doesn't discriminate for content. Whether it's the correct conception or misconception, it just kind of absorbs it all. And when your brain sees it first, it kind of taints the information that comes after that. So research shows that misinformation delivered before the facts, preemptively, can be more believable and harder to correct. This is known as the primacy effect. You can check out the archives for primacy recency effect. But this is where the first information presented has stronger influence on memory and judgment than later information. When people hear misinformation first, it often shapes their initial understanding and perception, making it difficult for factual information that follows to overwrite or correct those early impressions. So when facts are presented afterwards, they're filtered through that framework established by the misinformation. However, misinformation delivered after the facts can also cause confusion and skepticism. But it is often easier to debunk if the correct information is firmly understood first. So this shows that the timing of misinformation matters, and delivering facts clearly and consistently up front is crucial in combating false beliefs. So again, misinformation delivered before the facts is more believable, harder to correct, and that timing matters. In fact, people ask me, when you go to a job interview or anything, doing a presentation, should you go first? Could you go in the middle? Should you go last? Sometimes you don't have a choice. Never in the middle, you're going to get lost in the cracks. That's a given. We know that one. But you should go first. If this is new information to them that they've never heard before, that's going to open their eyes, you should go first to plant that information first. Now, if they've been through the information, they're the experts, and you want the final last word, it's better to go last when it's something they really understand and have been studying and researching for a long time. So let's dive into some additional content today. These persuasive pronouns, they mean other things to other people. I'm just talking about the basic things you learned in your grammar class. I, we, you, they. I need this, we need this, you need this, they need this can mean different things in different situations. And a lot of times we don't even think about it. Remember, verbal packaging, every word matters, how we say it, rate, tone, word. Let me give you an example. Contract. Lawyers use it all day long. It does not faze them. But when they use it to the average person, it could freak them out. That's kind of scary to sign the contract. So you're in a situation in your department, whatever you do, maybe you're an entrepreneur, you're probably using words that you use all the time, they don't faze you. Acronyms that you use all the time that you get that other people don't. Remember, confused mind says no. So let me share a study from Dr. Cialdini. They called it BIRG, B-I-R-G, Basking in Reflected Glory. This is what happened. They were trying to see how people associate themselves with other successful people to boost their own self-esteem. I mean, that's a whole nother law of persuasion, esteem, where self-esteem is an all-time low and getting lower. So we want to associate, we want to feel good. What is self-esteem? How much we like ourselves. So they looked at 7 different universities, and the researchers observed the students' behavior and language following a big university football game. And so they took note of the number of students wearing university apparel, university sweatshirts, university swag we'll call it. What they found is that students were more likely to wear university branded clothing after a win compared to a loss. And even better than that, the language they used. So they changed their apparel, right, associating with winners. And when the football team won, they said, "We won." But if they lost, they distanced themselves saying, "Oh, they lost." So the study highlights how people align themselves with successful groups to enhance their self-image and distance themselves from failure to protect their self-esteem. And that's something you need to think about. When they say, "I'm doing it, you're doing it, we're doing it, they're doing it," can mean different things in different situations. Dr. James Pennebaker has done a lot of research on pronouns, how pronouns can reveal much about a person's personality, relationships, emotional state, even power dynamics. Now, Dr. Pennebaker has done research, scoured thousands of emails to see what we're using I, we're using we, what does it mean? How can we use this? So let's talk about a few things where you can adjust your language to create a stronger connection, better rapport, and make your prospects easier to influence. So Dr. Pennebaker is a social psychologist. He's at the University of Texas and has spent years studying the subtle ways language reveals our psychological states. His research has found that frequency and type of pronouns, remember I, we, you, they, can indicate levels of confidence, focus, and personal involvement in a conversation. So people who frequently use the pronoun I tend to focus on themselves, which correlates with feelings of self-consciousness or insecurity. On the flip side, individuals who use more we may show inclusiveness or even shared responsibility. So if someone's using the word I a lot, they could be self-focused, concerned with their own problems, needs, or insecurities. And that could indicate to you as an influencer that they need reassurance and personalized attention. Now, if you're hearing we a lot, that could mean they're focused on team dynamics or more group-oriented. So the influencer should emphasize collaboration, collective benefits of the product or service. Now, if you get you a lot, that could suggest the prospect is outwardly focused and possibly in a position of authority or judgment. So this could be an opportunity to speak directly to their concerns, how you're going to solve their problem, how your solution fits their specific needs. So not only do pronouns give you insight into others, they also affect how others perceive you. We know in influence, persuasion, sales, trust is key, and pronoun usage can strengthen or weaken that trust, that connection. So if you're using I too much, you might seem self-centered, less focused on their needs, hurting trust. If you're sensing that, try to add we, which can create a sense of partnership and mutual benefit. So the big thing here, usually in persuasion, influence, sales, you want to shift from I to we. We can solve your problem with the service. We can achieve the best results with the service. So you're making it feel like a partnership. You're in this together, and it's not you and I. We are in this together. We are here to solve your problem. Now, careful of you. I mean, it can grab their attention, but overusing it might feel like a lecture, like they're in trouble. So try to balance you with we, showing empathy that you're in this together. It's also interesting about this research. These pronouns can indicate power dynamics. See, people in positions of lower power tend to use more I pronouns. Maybe sometimes showing anxiety on how they're perceived. But those in higher power positions tend to use more pronouns like we and you, demonstrating an outward focus and authority. So I'd also add here, you've heard me talk about mirror matching, isopraxism. It's a psychological connection. So when you subtly mirror the other person's language style, so if they're using a lot of I's or we's or you's, you can mirror that. So if you're hearing the we, you crank it up. If you're hearing more I's, increase your I usage. If they say, we're struggling with this problem, hey, we can definitely help with that. Here's the solution. Makes a big difference. Another interesting part of this research suggests that people who are more emotionally engaged or distressed tend to use more pronouns like I and my, while those who aren't emotionally involved or less emotionally involved use fewer pronouns. So if you're in an influence situation, you hear a lot of I or my, they might be so emotionally invested in the problem they're trying to solve. You need to acknowledge their emotions, find out what's going on, crank up your emotional intelligence, your EQ, and that'll help you tap into their emotional needs. So again, we're talking about mostly you, I, we, they. Getting careful of you that you're not lecturing you're in trouble. But using you in the right places can increase the sense of responsibility or urgency in the audience. Instead of saying, we have the solution to that problem, you could say, you will find our solution will solve your problem, change your life, make you money, and make you live 10 years longer. Something like that. So you does do a little personalization. It is more of an engagement involvement. It does grab their attention when you hear you versus we. And it does encourage the prospect, the customer, to take ownership and act on, or the information, let's say you want them to read. Now, again, helps with that personal connection and establishing credibility. It's great when you're one-on-one, not a group. And I would use the I to establish credibility. Now, if you're the expert and you want to build trust, let them know. I'm doing this. I recommend this. Don't be afraid if you're the expert and they're accepting you the expert to use more of the I word. Now we know sense of partnership, collaboration, teamwork. Sometimes we can make the message feel less personal. But if you're looking for that collaboration, you're working together, we does work well. They, that's the third party, customers, competitors. They have found success using this product, solving this problem. So when you're doing like testimonials or comparisons, you're trying to be objective, they can work really, really well. So you can create a personal and engaging message. Do you want partnership? Do you want to be the expert? Do you want to use they for social validation? Be more aware of your words. Now, on the flip side, when we talk about leadership, you can use you for directly addressing the audience, making them feel more personal, relevant, warm, engaged. You will see how this new initiative, fill in the blank. We've talked about we, but especially in leadership positions, it builds that team spirit. It's great for discussing future goals, future collaboration, things we're trying to accomplish. We have achieved incredible growth this quarter. You in leadership is great for motivational speeches. It sounds like you're talking to them, giving feedback. You need to use you because this is not a we thing. You need to be improving this. You need to be on time. You need to be nicer to your fellow coworkers. Can be part of that. But then in a team meeting, we can use the we. We can use we when we're creating vision statements. It makes a difference. So there you have it, the persuasive pronouns. I, we, you, they, you pick and choose. They won, we lost. You're going to hear that a lot more as you listen to people talk about sports and other things. We were successful. They were a failure. We separate ourselves. So there's a lot of issues here. This is the psychology of persuasion. Be more aware of the right type of words you can use. This is verbal packaging. This is important for you to understand. It makes a huge difference in what you're able to do. Again, thanks for being here. We're going to continue on by popular demand. InfluenceUniversity.com. Go to maximize your influence, click on podcast 530 or go to InfluenceUniversity.com/special where you can get a lifetime membership for $97. This is pretty much everything I've done from audios, videos, books, archives, library, podcasts, all in one spot. You could take the structured 52-week program, or you can pick and choose the areas that you want to work on. Check it out, and you'll even enjoy a free coaching session. So take something you learned today. Be more aware of the I, we, you, they, these persuasive pronouns. Mentally be more engaged, that you're listening to them, you're adapting to them, you're mirroring them, you're using the right words. It'll make a big difference in your success, your influence, your negotiation, and of course, go out and persuade with power.